guys, how's it going? I'm back with a Mr. M video for you guys today. Happy Tuesday. I was going to say Thursday. Happy Tuesday. We're back with a Mr. M video. 3 disturbing true school horror stories. As you guys already know, school in itself is already a horror story, so this is going to be extra scary because, you know, school is already a horror story. So, yeah. Hopefully you guys are having a good day so far. If you guys haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe because I'm stalled at like not a lot of subs right now. And I'm pretty sure the majority of you guys that watch are not subscribed, so please make sure that you subscribe. Thank you. Starting. This never worked the first time I pressed the damn button. Come on, bro. This hoodie I already bought. I'm pretty sure this hoodie I already bought because this came out in September, and this hoodie I bought like a couple days ago, I think, or a week ago. I don't even know. But it's not gonna come to like freaking the new year, and I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I want this sweater now. Like, bro, give me this sweater. Anyways, yeah, honestly, if you guys haven't gotten it, you guys probably should because it's a nice sweater. I don't even know if it's the same one, but I'm pretty sure it is. It only lasts up until Halloween. Then when it's sold out, it's gone. So I was like, you know what? I don't have any Mr. Hammer merch. I have some Damian merch. I gotta get some Mr. Hammer merch too. So, anyways. Jasmine Escobar. Okay. It's a 19-minute video, by the way.
I grew up in a small town in West Virginia. I won't share the name of the college I attended, but it was a small university in a little town about 15 minutes from where I grew up.
Is it a college or a university? Oh, they're different, bro. Come on.
I was a freshman in 2021, and COVID was still an important factor in my college experience. One of the biggest impacts was on the dorms. Most students didn't stay on campus due to COVID, so they rented apartments nearby. I was poor and didn't have that luxury, so I stayed on campus and drove home for the weekends since I lived so close. Still, I wanted the full...
If you live so close, why can't you just go home then?
...college experience in the dorms. On my first day, I met my roommate. We had chatted a little over text because the school had given her my phone number so we could get to know each other.
Okay.
Which I thought was a little strange.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you can't just give someone your phone number, like, ask permission first, like, you know what I mean? Come on, bro. That's not okay.
She messaged me first and seemed nice. Meeting her in person, she was still nice, but didn't say much. She carried a privileged attitude. One time while talking, she said everyone has their own rooms due to a lack of students. I did last semester, and now until you joined. I was a little taken aback and didn't know what to say, so I just changed the topic. Has their own rooms due to attitude. One time while talking, she said everyone has their own rooms due to a lack of students. I did last semester, and now until you joined. I was a little taken aback and didn't know what to say, so I just changed the topic and continued the conversation. I told her I lived nearby, and that I'd leave for the weekend on Friday and be back on Monday morning at 6. She didn't say much during the weekdays. She mostly stayed with her boyfriend in his dorm room. Now for the creepy part. The first Friday, I packed my bag for the weekend and left. I came back Monday morning at 6, just like I said I would. I didn't have class until 10, so I went back to sleep. I had a thick memory foam mattress, and after lying down for about 10 minutes, I felt the edge of the bed indent. I didn't move. I waited a minute, barely processing what was happening because I was so tired. Then the mattress went back up. That's when it hit me. Someone had leaned on my bed. I turned around and saw her facing the wall, presumably sleeping, so I went back to sleep. The next weekend, I left again and returned at the same time. Again.
Yeah, but if it's like a dorm, isn't it like 2 different dorms, like 2 different beds, like different rooms too? Like it's not the same thing, is it? That's kind of weird if it's the same room.
I wanted more sleep. Moments after lying down, I felt the mattress indent again, but this time it wasn't just the edge. The whole side sagged, and someone was sitting next to me. I didn't move.
Can you not?
I lay there, frozen, and then I heard them get up. My bed was very high. In fact, I needed a step stool to climb onto it, and I heard them jump off.
A step stool?
I held my breath, then looked over. She was again lying on her bed, facing the wall. I didn't know what to think. Was I hallucinating from the lack of sleep? Was it sleep paralysis?
No, she's just
It
sus.
couldn't be. I could still move.
She's sus.
Could someone have gotten into my room? Impossible. We were the only ones with keys. I decided I must be extremely tired and just imagining things, so I went back to sleep. When Monday came around, I was really nervous. I walked in and saw her lying down, facing my bed. She was asleep, so I climbed into bed and tried to sleep as well. 5 minutes later, I felt my bed indent again. I squeezed my eyes shut, felt someone sit next to me, and braced myself to turn around. Then, I felt a hand on the back of my neck.
What?
My heart sank. I thought I was going to pass out. I didn't move a muscle.
What?
They didn't squeeze, they just held my neck. What felt like hours later, I felt them finally get off my bed.
You're not gonna confront the person that's grabbing your neck when you're trying to sleep? Like, I don't understand. Like, you're not confronting her at all? Like, even the next day, hey, were you sitting on my bed last night? Like, just ask her a question, bro. Come on.
I stayed frozen for a few more moments, terrified, then turned around. She was facing the wall, sleeping,
My
but I
ass.
didn't care. I left the room immediately and called my mom. I didn't go to class. I told my mom everything, and she reported it to the school. I was allowed to switch rooms, thank God. They asked if I wanted to involve the police, but I said no. There wasn't actual proof she had done anything. I just asked them not to give her another roommate. After unpacking in my new room, I remembered a few things. She had once told me that she had a previous roommate who didn't stay long, but she never said why. I also remembered one day she opened a locked drawer containing about 10 bottles of prescription medicine. She said it was for a skin issue. I wondered if that was true. Maybe she had another disorder or scary side effects from the medication. A few days later, I realized I had left a book and binder in her room. I didn't care much about the book, but she messaged me asking me to come get it. I told her I needed to focus on school in my new room, but agreed to retrieve my things to avoid suspicion. My key still worked, so I went in. She wasn't there, and I sighed in relief. I grabbed my belongings and turned to leave. As I turned, she was standing in the doorway. I hadn't heard her unlock it. I smiled, trying to stay calm. She didn't say anything at first. I walked past her to leave, then she asked, "Where's your new room?"
I'm not
I told her it
telling
was
you.
on the first floor. She asked which hall, and I lied.
Good.
She asked what it was near, the stairs, the front, the office, etc.
Lie again.
I said I didn't remember, but she kept pressing. I lied again, saying it was near the stairs. I turned around and left, never seeing her again. I thought about telling her boyfriend, but I was too scared. I still think about it again. I thought about telling her
I thought about telling her boyfriends.
boyfriend, but I was too scared. I still think about it. Was I dreaming, hallucinating? I don't think so, but it couldn't have been anyone else. Only we had keys. Maybe she was sleepwalking as a side effect of her medication, or maybe she was planning something sinister. My mom thinks she was testing how close she could get to me before I woke up, and that one morning she might have actually tried to choke me. I don't know. It's in the past now, and I hope she never had another roommate again.
And maybe that was her goal the whole time, just to kind of like get rid of the roommate, because I'm pretty sure you were saying, like in the earlier parts of the video, Mr. Nightmare said that you said that the girl was kind of like, oh yeah, you know, I didn't have a roommate until now. You know what I mean? So maybe she kind of said it like that, and then she tried getting rid of her, and then again, her her other roommate didn't last long, and now I see why. So, there's the answer. Adam. I'm just gonna call him Adam.
This incident occurred during my time at university. I attended the University of Huddersfield from 2021 to 2023.
Real photo.
It's not
okay.
exactly known
Cool.
for its nightlife, so a lot of students end up spending late nights on campus, especially in the library or the academic buildings that stay open 24/7. I've never been the type to stay out late myself, but this happened during my last year when I had no choice. I was taking an advanced statistics class, and our professor was notorious for loading us with massive assignments. The due date for one of the biggest projects was approaching, and I hadn't made as much progress as I should have. My laptop had been giving me issues, so I decided to use the computers in the business building.
I remember doing assignments and all that crap, and I was just like, bro, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I remember doing so many assignments, and like, it was always such a sigh of relief. Like, whenever I pressed submit, like, it was just so nice. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was great. Like, anytime you finish like a huge assignment, like, like review it so many times. Like, you know what I mean? Like, am I missing anything? Oh my god, I have to add this. I have to add this. You know, it's just damn, bro.
The business building is a little isolated from the rest of the campus. It's 3 stories tall, kind of old, and it always had this weird, sterile silence to it, especially at night. But the computer lab on the second floor was usually pretty empty after 9 p.m., so I figured it'd be the best place to focus. That night, I got there around 10. The campus was already dead quiet, and when I stepped inside, I noticed right away how much colder it felt than outside.
Sorry guys, I was like totally like spacing out for a
It's in
second.
the business building.
I'm sorry.
The business building is a little isolated from the rest of the campus. It's 3 stories tall, kind of old, and it always had this weird, sterile silence to it, especially at night. But the computer lab on the second floor was usually pretty empty after 9 p.m., so I figured it'd be the best place to focus. That night, I got there around 10.
Okay.
The campus was already dead quiet, and when I stepped inside, I noticed right away how much colder it felt than outside. I swiped my student ID, heard the beep, and the door unlocked. The whole place had an overwhelming odor of cleaning chemicals, which meant that I wouldn't bump into any of the cleaning staff, as they had already done their rounds in this building.
Okay.
I went straight to the computer lab, booted up one of the computers, and started working. For a while, it wasn't bad. The hum of the computer and the tapping of my keyboard filled the silence. I kept glancing at the clock in the corner of the screen, reminding myself that I'd leave before 1 a.m. But around 11:30...
Because I know some campuses like close overnight. From where you guys are from, or like from whichever college or university that you went to, like did your school actually close? Like ever, like did they actually ever lock the doors, or was it just always open 24/7? Let me know. I'm kind of
Something weird
curious.
happened. I was scrolling through some data, and I heard the sound of a door slamming shut somewhere down the hallway. Not the front entrance. It came from further inside the building. At first, I brushed it off. Maybe it was just the air system, or the janitor.
Plus the building's open. Can't someone just walk in? It's an open building. You walked in, like it's open. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. Is it open 24/7? Is it just open until midnight? Like you said, you can leave at 1 a.m., but it would have closed before 1 a.m. If it were to close, it would close before 1 a.m., right? So, I don't know.
But then I remembered. The janitors had already come through, and by now they'd be long gone. I tried to ignore it and kept working.
Well,
But then came footsteps. Slow, heavy footsteps echoing from the hallway outside the lab. They weren't rushed, and they weren't faint. Whoever it was, they were walking like they wanted to be heard. I froze in my chair, staring at the computer screen, hoping they'd just pass by. But instead, the steps stopped right outside the lab door. I could see through the little window in the door if I leaned back, but I couldn't bring myself to look. I just sat there, holding my breath. After maybe 10 seconds, I heard the door handle being rattled. It wasn't like someone casually testing it. It was someone deliberately trying to scare me, like whoever it was wanted to open it but couldn't. My heart started pounding. The lab doors locked automatically after a certain time, so I knew they shouldn't be able to just walk in. But the way they kept rattling the handle made me feel sick. After maybe 30 seconds of this, the sound stopped.
yeah, but I'm so confused. Like, is this place not open? The building that you're in, is it not open? Like, maybe I'll go back again at the end of the story just to kind of like verify. But I'm pretty sure she said that it doesn't close because obviously people are still inside, so it doesn't close obviously.
The footsteps
Why are you so
started
nervous
again,
about someone being
slowly
inside?
moving down the hall until they faded away. I sat there in silence, debating whether I should just pack up and leave. But my project was due the next morning, and a part of me thought that maybe it was just another student messing around.
Exactly.
I
Or
tried
just walking
convincing
by.
myself of that and went back to typing. But not even 10 minutes later, I heard it again.
That's annoying.
Footsteps. Only this time, they weren't coming from the hallway. They were above me. The ceiling in that building has those thin panels, and you can sometimes hear the pipes when the heat kicks on. But this wasn't pipes. This was the distinct sound of someone crawling or dragging themselves directly above the tiles.
Dragging.
I stared up, terrified as to what I would see. I could see one of the tiles shift slightly, just enough to know that weight was pressing down on it. Then came this slow creak, like someone carefully lowering themselves, trying not to be heard. I had enough at this point. I yanked out my flash drive, shoved my notebook into my backpack, and sprinted towards the door.
Sprinted?
The second I stepped into the hallway, it was like I'd walked into a different world. The hall was dimly lit by those buzzing fluorescent lights, and all I could hear was the sound of my sneakers squeaking against the tiles. I walked fast, trying not to outright run. I got to the stairwell, shoved the door open, and started down. That's when I made the mistake of looking up. On the landing above me, just one floor up, there was a man. He wasn't a student, nor was he a professor. He looked out of place, like his clothes were baggy and torn.
Homeless person?
His face half shadowed. I could see his mouth was hanging open, like he was grinning really wide. He didn't move. He just stood there, staring down at me. I bolted. I flew down the stairs so fast I almost tripped. I slammed through the first floor door, and I sprinted for the front entrance. My ID card barely registered fast enough to unlock it, but once it clicked, I shoved it open and ran across campus without looking back. For the front entrance, I stood there, staring down at me. I slammed through the first floor door, and I sprinted for the front entrance. My ID card barely registered fast enough to unlock it, but
What do you mean to unlock it? You're leaving the building. And why is it locked? I thought you said that. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and make sure I'm not stupid. Because I feel like this would all make sense more if maybe I listened the right way the first time. Even though I thought I did, but it's fine.
Once it clicked, I shoved it open.
Plus, if you're exiting, you shouldn't have to use your card to open the door. Like, you're literally leaving the doors. Press the crash bar and then the door will open.
Ran across campus without looking back. I didn't stop until I was inside my dorm, with my door locked behind me, and my back pressed against the door as I tried to catch my breath. The next morning, I went back, only because I had to turn in the projects. When I walked into the business building during daylight, it felt like a completely different place. But I noticed something that made my stomach drop. I saw one of the ceiling tiles was missing, the one directly above from where I had been working, along with the one from the corner, which is the tile I saw moving. It was as though someone had been watching me work, then proceeded to rattle the door handle to deliberately mess with me.
Wow.
And when they found the door to be locked, they proceeded to climb back up into the ceiling and enter from there. I dread to think what his intention was if he entered the lab before I ran. I think it's safe to say I'm going to buy a new laptop, and in the future, complete my assignments from the comfort of my own dorm.
Okay, yeah, so...
It's 3 stories tall, class, and our professor was notorious for loading us with massive assignments. The due date for one of the laptop had been giving me issues, so I decided to use the computers in the business building. The business building is a little isolated from the rest of the campus. It's 3 stories tall, kind of old, and it always had this weird, sterile silence to it.
Yeah, so he never said it was
especially at
closed.
night. But the computer lab on the 2nd floor was usually pretty empty after 9 p.m., so I figured it'd be the best place to focus. That night, I got there around 10. The campus was already dead quiet, and when I stepped inside, I noticed right away a beep and the door unlocked. I swiped my student ID, heard the beep, and the door unlocked.
Okay, so it's like the doors were already locked, but I guess you can still scan in, like, to prove you're a student, right? So I guess if the guy... Okay, so now that makes more sense, because I thought the doors were open. It was open all night. I didn't know that you had to use the ID card to open it and to leave as well. Like, what if... That's kind of weird. Like, to get in, yeah, that makes sense. Like, tap your card, whatever, go inside, then leave without tapping your card, right? But apparently... Okay, anyways. Yeah, I will agree then. That's obviously a bit sus. I was just thinking the whole time that the campus was open for some reason. So I was like, what's the big deal? I don't get it. But yeah, that makes more sense. That really does make more sense.
Dread to think about.
So I'm really glad that she's okay. Obviously, we have no idea who that person is or was, so that's good that she escaped without anything happening. Because yeah, like, it's like the ceiling tiles were missing. It's like, how the fuck did they even get inside if you need an ID card? Unless they were inside before the doors closed, right? Because then I assume if you're inside... And plus, if it's a university, isn't there like security going around and everything? Or like something like that? You'd hope at least, right?
My name is Annabelle. I'm 20 years old from the UK, and this happened to me in high school,
Okay.
which is what we call college here in the UK.
Okay.
This was when I was 16. I'm about to tell you about the scariest day of my life.
Damn, okay.
Sounds dramatic, I know, but you'll see why. So for context, my school had these lanyards with ID cards on them, and although anyone can walk into the building, you can only go beyond the foyer if you scan one of these IDs on a screen, which opens the door into the school. The IDs have your face and name on them, but a lot of kids flip them around so you can't see their picture. You also need this to open up pretty much every door in the school other than for classrooms. Also, this was a fairly newly built school. It was really small, but looked bigger because the building was pretty large. A third of the building was a special school for kids with learning disabilities. Another third of it was a nursery, and the last third of it was the actual high school.
Okay.
I had just started at this high school, and I vividly remember everyone being told on the first day to make sure not to let anyone in the school that we didn't know. The day that this incident happened, it was the second week of school.
Again, is it not open? Like, bro, like, colleges and universities open the doors so you can come in.
But this was actually only my second full day there, as I'd been feeling sick all week. I had geography class all day.
All day?
It was about halfway through the day when this takes place,
Ew.
about 20 minutes after lunch period.
Okay.
I remember drinking a heckload of juice that I got from the cafeteria at lunch, because I had to finish it all before lunch period ended, since we're not allowed drinks out in class.
Okay.
And I had nowhere to put it without it spilling over. So 20 minutes later, and yeah, I really needed to use the bathroom. I asked my teacher if I could go quickly, and we're not usually allowed to go to the bathroom during class anyway, so he was pretty annoyed about this since we only just had break, but he could see I really needed to go, so he reluctantly agreed.
Plus, they can't really say no. Like, anybody could just say, oh, I really gotta go to the washroom. I get if it's after lunch, but, you know, I guess that makes sense. After lunch, like, you just ate, you just drank, you're probably gonna have to use the washroom soon. That's normal.
This is significant because at this point, nobody else would really be walking around the school. I never even really saw teachers walking around often during class hours.
These schools are weird.
I left the class and let myself through a set of double doors into the cafeteria. And keep in mind, there was nobody in there at this point. I carried on walking.
Is the school just like a deserted at this point? No one's in the hallways, no one's walking around. Like, it seems kind of weird. Especially high school, there's always students skipping class. I don't understand. I really don't.
Into another large room with a second set of classrooms, used the bathroom, and let myself back into the cafeteria again to head back to my classroom. When I let myself back through the doors to the cafeteria, though, there was a man sitting at one of the tables. It wasn't weird for someone to be in there. Like I said, people aren't usually walking around during class hours, but they still do. I mean, I was too at that time. I didn't know who it was that was sitting there. He was too old to be a student, so I assumed it was either a teacher or a parent, and I just continued walking. But then he said, "Hey," and I let out a squeal because I'm quite a nervous, jumpy person anyway.
Sam.
I wasn't expecting him to speak to me. I was pretty embarrassed, but he laughed and said, "Sorry, didn't mean to scare you." This is when I realized he actually had a lanyard on, so at this point I was assuming he was a teacher. What I realized though, when I look back on this, is that even though he had his lanyard on with the ID part was flipped over so that the side with your face and name on it was facing the back side of the card holder that's attached to the lanyard. Like I said earlier, kids would do that all the time at the school. The scanner would still work, so it wasn't a big deal, but definitely weird for a teacher to do. I didn't really pay attention to this detail at the time though. "I need some help getting some work things out of my car. Do you mind coming out with me for just a sec?"
No,
he asked me.
I'm not doing that.
I didn't hesitate to reply with, "Yeah, of course," because again, I just assumed this was a teacher. We walked out of the cafeteria in silence and into the foyer, and then out of the building, and I kind of noticed he seemed a bit nervous. Like, teachers usually make small talk with you when you're walking somewhere with them, and he was saying nothing.
Yeah,
Also, he
sus.
was moving his hands a lot. Like, at one point, he had his hands in his pockets, and then he'd take them out and kind of hold his hands together. I'm really shy and not too good at social situations, so I didn't make any attempts at small talk either.
I wouldn't have either.
With the layout of the front of the school, after we left the building, you've got about 50 or so meters, which is about 55 yards, to the car park, which you can't see until you're right next to it because there's a bunch of bushes which obscure it.
Car park is in parking lot?
If you walk straight on without turning into the car park, you'll be off the school property. So we were walking to the car park in silence, and then he suddenly says, "Yeah, my work stuff is in the boot. That's what we call the trunk of a car in the UK. He said, "I have a few bags, so I just need you to help me carry a couple into the school." I said, "Yeah, that's fine." We got to the car park, and he said, "My car is the blue one down at the end."
Come on, bro.
As we
Blue's
got
my
a few meters
favorite
from
color. Why is it gotta
I
be
kind
so
of see
scary?
something in the back seat. And as we were getting closer to it,
It's a
I
person.
realized there were at least 2 men hiding in the back seat.
Oh, fuck no.
I froze, and instead of running away, I blinked, and I guess they saw that I could see them, because the back door swung open, and all of a sudden, there was a man scrambling out of the car, and the man who I thought was a teacher grabbed my arm as I turned to
Fuck,
run
bro.
back to the school. This guy was pretty tall and large, by the way, And for context, I'm 5'2" and quite underweight, so I don't know how I managed it. Rush of adrenaline or whatever, but I used all the strength in my body to yank my arm out of his grip and start running back towards the school. I could hear multiple heavy footsteps running after me, but thank God, they stopped pretty soon after I started running away. Because my school had big glass automatic doors, you have to just wait for them to open, and they definitely would have caught up to me if they kept going. I guess the fact that they were glass doors, though, would have been risky if there was someone walking by. Either way, though, I got into the foyer and ran straight into the open cafe, which was attached to the library, and I ran up to the person working at the cafe to tell her the situation. She calmed me down and came with me into the school to a teacher's office and called my parents and the police. There's security cameras in the parking lot, so they were caught and charged with attempted kidnapping.
Good.
Also, turned out that man was able to enter the building because some kid dropped their lanyard outside the school, and that's what he was using and why he flipped the ID over. I didn't go back to school for a couple of weeks. I'm still having therapy for this experience, but I felt writing this whole thing down and sharing my story would help me process things. This remains the scariest experience of my life.
Yeah, honestly, I can't even say that you're being dramatic. I can't say you're being dramatic at all, because like that's literally a horrifying experience. Like, you're 16 years old. It doesn't matter how old you are, but obviously being still a kid. I mean, yeah, like 16 is basically still a kid. Like, you're an older kid, but you're still a kid. Anyways, that's still terrifying. You know what I mean? Like, I could not imagine being kidnapped at 16 years old, or at any age, obviously. But being kidnapped is literally the scariest thing ever. Because then you don't know what they're gonna do with you. Are you gonna be able to escape? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, you know, what's their plan? Like, they obviously have an evil plan. They're kidnapping you, obviously. So they're obviously planning something evil or like sinister or just not okay to do, obviously. So it's like, yeah, I can't even say that she's being dramatic, because she's not. Well, honestly, yeah, these schools are weird. Like, is it just me, or like these schools are kind of weird? Like, this is a separate thing from this. This is like, bro, my high school was just like 3 floors. Standard thing, all the doors are open basically, like when the school opens and closes, like that's it. You walk in, you walk out. I don't really understand. Like, all these tap cards and this and that, like, yes, colleges I understand, but like, a high school is not really any one card IDs. I know, like, I had a one card, or sorry, I had a card, like I had one card, like my school ID, basically. I had the one card saying, you know, my name, high school, the year, things like that, but I never had to tap it anywhere. I just kind of had like the student ID, that was it, right, just to verify I'm a student. That's basically it. So I don't understand why you have to tap to get in, tap to leave, like tap to do this, like tap to do everything. Like, I don't understand that it's like a separate thing from this. Like, I don't get it. Like, basically for me, on the 3rd floor, it was all basically classrooms. The 1st floor was kind of like the calf. The 1st floor was also, I'm trying to like memorize the thing in my school. Yeah, so there was a few classrooms, I think, on the 1st floor as well, but that was mainly office areas, like counseling, the office, principal's office, like the chapel, because it was a Catholic school, and yeah, maybe some classrooms, but very few, if any. And then the bottom floor was like kind of like the forum area. That was like where the stage was, where you guys could like have presentations and like pep rallies and assemblies, things like that. I haven't said that word in so long, an assembly. Damn, bro. I feel so damn old, bro. I hate it. Anyways, yeah, like assemblies, and there was like a whole freaking duke of lockers, crazy amount of lockers, obviously. Like, yeah. And then a few classrooms as well. Yes, a few classrooms on the bottom floor as well. Yes, I remember that. Anyways, that's just me trying to explain my school. That was my high school. But again, for this last girl, she said that high school is basically college here, so it's kind of different. So yeah, that makes more sense. But like, I don't know. To me, it just seemed kind of confusing. Like, oh yeah, like you have to tap your card to go in. Like, student cards shouldn't work on exit doors after hours. Like, if a school is closed after a certain time, like, you don't go in, right? It's closed. Why would your card work to go in? I don't know. Every school is different. Of course, I'm used to my college. I'm used to my high school that I went to. So hearing all this, I'm like, why is everything so different? That's why it just kind of like threw me off. Sorry guys, don't mind my little rant about that, but that first room was 100% trying to get Op to move out so she could have the room to herself. 100%. Easily. That's why she said it in the first thing. Oh yeah, yeah, but now you're here. My first roommate didn't last long, by the way. Yeah, now I know why. My biggest school horror stories are thinking I still have to go. Been 15 years since I graduated and I still have the odd night about missing a class and assignment. I do that too sometimes. I wake up and I'm like, oh, thank God, I'm not in school anymore. Thank the Lord. So back in college, I hated getting roommates. I found out if I did creepy, harmless things, they would leave with no fuss. I had a whole room to myself. School itself is a scary story, period. A roommate in story was deliberately creeping on people so she wouldn't have a roommate, devious. I really hope the first storyteller develops enough confidence about herself to never let someone put their hands around her neck. Yeah, like just to chill there with someone hands around your neck. Like you're not gonna get up or do anything, you're not gonna react at all. Yeah, it's okay, just hold my neck, it's fine, I don't care. Pardon? Doesn't have an ounce of aggression in her. The roommate would word for word asks her where her dorm is, and she doesn't ask her a single question why. That's true. Yeah, it's like, why do you want to know? I moved out here for a reason. I don't want you to know where I am. Like fuck out of here. When you read through stories, do you ever think, damn, these people are stupid as shit when they do something that's stupid as shit? Probably. I would assume so. I remember when I was at school, I'd often hear older people saying, enjoy the best years of your life. I heard that too. My sister was like, no, it's not. That's a pretty scary prospect if your school days were shit. Last comment, my battery's about to die, of course. The person in story 3 didn't think to ask the teacher for his name or what class he teaches, and just blindly decides to help this random guy. No survival instincts. Yeah, like if it's a teacher, I do kind of understand. Like you're just kind of saying, oh yeah, sure, I can help you, whatever. But like yeah, like make sure they're a prof first. Make sure they're a teacher. Make sure they're part of the school. If their ID's flipped over, it's hidden for a reason, most likely. So figure out who that person is. Like, or recognize them, like, because again, if it's well, I mean, you're not going to recognize every teacher, right? Because you're a student, you're not going to recognize everybody. So that makes more sense. But yeah, like at least ask their name or something, or what class they teach, or I don't know, verify with somebody that they're an actual teacher. Don't just say, yeah, sure, I'll go with you. I'll help you, random person that I think is a teacher. And plus, again, yeah, like after seeing two people in the back seat, I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad you escaped, because that was not that could have gone wrong really fast. Anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, please be sure to give it a like, comment down below, be sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video. But yeah, please make sure to subscribe, because I'm pretty sure most of you guys are not subscribed. So please make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Deuces. Peace.